This is the Bulldog on ClassX Radio. If you tuned in the second half of our show yesterday and you didn't hear us, well, I just want to tell you right now what happened. And Duke's going to hear from me today. You all didn't know this. I actually have a class action lawsuit against Duke that stems from their billing me the same amount of money for utility costs when I was closed at Bulldogs for the summer, and I was on. And I also attacked them as it relates to because I was on the air. I was on the air when the big windstorm hit several years ago. So we're getting to get to the bottom of it, but it looks like, and the rumor is, and I want to just tell you right now, it's just a rumor, that the president of Duke, if you didn't know this, Duke is now a part of a big energy company out of North Carolina, that the president of Duke himself said, I'm tired of listening to him, turn it off. And they turned off the electricity to ClassX Radio to shut me up. So I'm going to apologize, but they can't keep a good guy down. We threatened to sue them. If it happened again, they turned it back on. No more fun and games with these guys. They don't know who they're messing with. Also, coming up later in the show, I will report about my first trip to the casino, which occurred last night in the evening. And it was my distinct honor that I did so with Willie and other important members of the Mafia, the Bulldogs Mafia. And we have a major, this is a big of an announcement that we've ever been able to make about the Bulldog Mafia. So I got to save it for the 8 o'clock hour, which is usually our crowded hour. Also, I was in court yesterday about the Withrow student incident, and I will report upon that. Also, we will comment about everything that's going on. And I think I have a I'm going to save America rant in me today. I feel it. It's like bubbling inside of me. And I think it's going to come out. And in addition, the rumors continue to fly that I have won Best Stand-Up Comedian in the Tri-State from City Beat. And I think it comes out March the 27th, so we'll see what happens. But that's the way it goes. If you're wondering, Seth is home. I saw him yesterday. He has a black right eye, a big old cut on his head, and a neck brace sitting in front of the television. I always use Seth as an example for I'm going to shame some of you. I always use Seth as an example of how does a guy that has cerebral palsy, okay, who walks with an imbalance, cannot articulate things like you and I, gets up at 6 a.m. every day with an alarm clock 7 days a week and works. How can there be so many people disabled? Now, many of you are truly disabled. I get it. But come on. Somebody with cerebral palsy works every day? And the reason why I saw him is my wife cooked a chicken pot pie and cheesecake for my mom, my dad, my sister Celia, and Seth, who all live at home on Green Road. And I took it over there at lunch when I had to go home and pick up a file. And my mom said they loved it, which of course it is. I ought to bring a chicken pot pie in here for breakfast one day. It is incredible. I could eat my wife's chicken pot pie every day, every meal, 365 days of the year, and I will never get sick of it. It's that good. We're going to report about Rand Paul, his filibuster. And in the spirit of Rand Paul's filibuster, we are contemplating filibustering ClassX Radio tomorrow. I've canceled all my appointments, and Jake is going to be off, and Garrett is going to take off a Coke, and we are thinking about not allowing anyone else on ClassX Radio until we get a raise. It's far overdue. You know, Garrett, doesn't it kind of bother you that when you know you're the big straw in the drink like you and I are, and we don't get compensated, and they all kind of like placate wild man who can't carry our microphones.
Yeah, it's kind of like they're using us.
Yeah, it's like they want all the benefits, but they don't want to pay.
Yeah.
Just like the athletes and union strike. I was inspired last night watching Rand Paul, and it came to me, and I said, that's the solution. We don't give them back their radio station.
We know how much you're making up there, Spry. We want 50% starting tomorrow, or we're not leaving.
We're just going to stay here, not leave.
It'll get to the point where we're just making noises into the microphones because we don't have anything else to say.
By the way, when we come back, I got some great stuff that I came up for my comedy act. Weird stuff comes to me at weird times, but not during that time. This is Ringo. It don't come easy. Dr. Kirschman's in the house. Traffic girl's on the way. Where's Sensible Don been? ClassX Radio. This is the Bulldog on ClassX Radio. John Madden, self-praise is for losers. Be a winner, stand for something. Always have class and be humble. You ought to listen to that, Garrett.
No thanks. Stupid quote from John Madden.
I agree. And it doesn't make any sense. And you know what? My problem is Willie is my mentor. And as everybody knows, part of Willie's shtick is saying stuff that everybody knows isn't true. It's that self-praise. And I've kind of picked that up. And it's a hard habit to break. That's why I tell Willie. The thing about Willie is when he tells that stuff, you know it's not true, like his dating Raquel Welch.
I hated her.
Yeah. 1530, King Henry VIII's divorce request is denied by Pope Henry. And then he declares he, not the Pope, is the supreme head of the English church. It was kind of cool being the head of a nation. See, I just declared myself head of Bulldog Nation. 1876, Alexander Graham Bell patented telephone. Now I'm going to try this out on you, American jury. If you pay attention to like movies and music and television and comedy and all those things, you will note that there are patterns and there are formulas. When they're kind of like winning formulas. Now, what's really neat about a guy like Quentin Tarantino is he will take some of that and he'll blow it up and still succeed. But if you think about all the great comics, there's variations. Like some of them will say things that are like every day that you can relate to. Like, for example, if you start talking about, how crazy drivers are in traffic, for example. Well, everybody can relate to that. So when they say something, it hits a nerve, and that's what's funny about it. But David Chappelle, his show is incredible. I figured out what his key is. If you think about all of his skits that he does, all of them, he takes something that is completely out of place in something that's out of place in. For example, like when he does the Clayton Bigsby thing. The whole idea of a blind black man being in the Ku Klux Klan, it's out of place, but that's what makes it so freaking funny. Just completely out of place. When he does those drafts, Eddie Murphy and him hanging out with Prince. That's out of place, So for some reason, it struck me coming in, and I haven't come up with any specifics for it, but how funny would it have been if in history, all through history, they texted? Can you imagine? Henry VIII, Anne, are you there? Come on in here. Or George Washington getting pissed off. God dang it, Benedict Arnold, I'm going to kick your ass. Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr texting each other back and forth. I challenge you to a duel. Where? Wouldn't that be funnier than hell?
That would be good.
Can you imagine what Muhammad Ali back in the day would have tweeted?
Isn't it weird? Like, I've always thought about that. You know what I thought about? Taking like a machine gun into the Civil War.
Oh!
Going back in time.
Well, you see, they created the Gatling gun at the end of the Civil War. The Union had the Gatling gun, and it was devastating. But you're right. Like, taking modern day
You
weapons.
just
oh
kill,
my
I mean-
God. But you see, once again, that's something out of place.
Right.
But
yeah.
it struck me, and I said,
That would be a good bit. Like stage of war, but one guy's walking around.
yeah, one guy has the weapons
Automatic,
with plenty of
yeah.
ammunition. Charge. well, like even in the Civil War.
Blows up a cannon.
I mean, Lee, are you going to freaking surrender yet or not? Go to hell, you bastard, Grant. I'm never going to surrender. You know, it would just be fun. You think about all the... how about... I thought of this custard. Oh, my God, there's 1 million Indians. Help!
He tweets it.
He tweets OMG.
That would be a good bit on like a late night show, like old like old time tweets or something.
Yeah,
Have people that
old-time
obviously
tweets.
weren't around when
Right,
Twitter was,
right.
or Facebook posts, and then just make up off the wall.
Right.
That'd be funny.
All right, what do we have here? Continuing. Something that's worth reporting.
Did we do all the birthdays and everything?
Not yet. Not yet. Oh, by the way, William wears the days again. He does those days one time, and then he stops again.
Dumbass, William.
And those are the best, William. The freaking day, like Peanut Butter Day or what?
Yeah.
Goofy days.
We want those all the time, William.
All right, here's the birthdays. Laura Prepon, 33. I got to rely on you youngsters. Who in the hell is Laura
Beats
Prepon?
the hell out of me.
You don't know who she is either? Hey, William, if we don't know who the hell she is, just leave her off. Rachel Weisz. Now, she's a brunette actress, and she's a pretty good one. Wanda Sykes, funny comedian, 49.
No, she's
Wanda?
not funny at all.
You
but
don't think so?
Yeah, we
she's-
got some Wanda.
I think she's funny.
Oh, she's too...
Rush Limbaugh, one of your big critics. Boy, Rush Limbaugh said he hopes this administration fails. You know, so you're saying, I hope America fails. You're like, I don't care about...
No, it's not what... Turn her off! Turn her off! God
Oh,
dang.
Josh, I don't like her.
You know what? I can prove for those. I mean, I am not kidding you. I do not look at color or race ever. Never. I really do judge people, and I've been around long enough, trust me. There's all kinds, as we all know, in all races. Yesterday, I was before a African-American black judge, Magistrate Cross, in juvenile court on that case with Withrow High School. And you talk about one impressive judge. She was clear, concise, deliberate, smart, fair. I mean, just, listened. He was strong. I mean, just, she was like, this is the epitome of a good judge. I mean, I was really, really impressed. And again, it has nothing to do with race.
Right.
I just want to say, boom, because, sometimes we rag on Michelle Obama or whatever. I think people think, but we're not at all. I mean,
Same thing when it's Hillary.
I supported, God dang, I've already forgot his freaking name. Herman McCain for president. Herman McCain. Herman McCain. Michael Eisner, 71, the former CEO of Disney. Birthday. Willard Scott, 79. Never did not much for me. No military deaths to report. Daily scripture. You know what we'll do is we'll just wait for Pastor Dan to come in. Good old Pastor Dan will be here with us. Today's weather, partly cloudy, high 39. Friday, sunny, high 44. Saturday, mostly sunny, high 55.
Dan coming in today?
Dan. Yeah, Dan. Yeah, he's coming in. He sent me an email.
Dan. I know a Dan. All right.
Hey, Dr. Kurtzman, is there anything going on in traffic before I get to the song?
No, we got nothing here in traffic. I'm looking out the window. I see nothing.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Doc.
By the way, based upon, I just want to say this is incredible. Based upon texts, emails, and reports, the Dr. Kurtzman is a hit. And as
well done, Jake.
As Jake said last night on a text, it's nice that he's finally found something to contribute to the show,
Yeah,
and I think I echo that.
Uh-huh.
It is good that he finally has done something good,
worthwhile,
to help the show that will keep him around.
Yep.
Very good, Jake. You found your thing.
Found my thing.
Are you going
to blow it?
Will you participate in the filibuster tomorrow with us? Oh, you're going to be gone. Maybe you can call in.
Right. Yeah, Jay, just stay on the phone line.
I'm doing the New York report tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah, that's Friday. It's not Friday. This is REM, Man on the Moon. I don't know what the hell. This is Andy Kaufman, on ClassX Radio. This is the Bulldog on ClassX Radio. I'm going to share a lot of personal stuff with you today. Why? Because I got stuff to share. I just want to tell you right now, Roger Kaufman, that I got it under control. Had to make a personnel move at the office. Sometimes you got to do those things. You know, one of the things that's most frustrating is when you count on someone and they let you down. God, God. Makes me angry. Alan Thicke. This is our useless and interesting facts. According to all the polls that we get back, this is the highlight of our show. If you're tuning in for the first time, this is called the useless yet interesting facts. Actor Alan Thicke and wife Gloria Loring co-composed the theme songs for Different Strokes and The Facts of Life. For the first season of Facts, the cast sings the opening number, but after season 2, it's Gloria's voice you hear at the opening of the show. I want to apologize for that. William put that in there. Why? I have no freaking idea, because that one definitely sucked.
My God.
Now, here's a good one. Richard Gere was offered a scholarship by the University of Massachusetts for his gymnastics talent when he was younger. Richard.
Dork.
God. Yeah. Cool boys don't do gymnastics. Yeah. Interesting. That's a good one. Jack Nicholson was raised by his grandparents and thought that his mom, June, was really his sister. That's creepy.
Whoa.
Now, this is good. Everybody knows about how the getting of Apple started, Microsoft. It's always in the garage. How come I think they make this crap up. It's in the garage. When they write our biography, they're going to say, Eric Deters, the Bulldog, and Dr. Garrett Sablehouse began doing radio out of their garage. Stanford University.
Some nerd in his bedroom.
Stanford University engineers Bill Hewlett and Dave Packard started their company in a Palo Alto garage with $1,538. How much money do we have?
About $50,000, didn't we?
Yeah.
To do the startup?
Yeah. Their first product was an audio oscillator bought by Walt Disney Studios for use in the movie Fantasia. Audio oscillator. You know what we ought to start? We ought to create a video bankolator.
Yeah, we should.
I've
I've been meaning to tell you, though, our oscillator's going down.
Uh-huh.
We're going to need a new one here.
Probably. Stanley Kubrick, weird dude, approached Lloyd's of London about an insurance policy in case extraterrestrial life was discovered before the release of his movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. That's messed up. Starfish eat by regurgitating their stomach on top of their food. If they don't like what they are eating, they detach the stomach and grow a new one. Jake, that's your animal for the day. Starfish. Starfish. And don't give us anything about regurgitating. We already know that now. This is interesting. Name the state, Garrett. And one thing about you, Garrett, is you take a swing.
Always going to take a stab
swing.
at it. Yep.
State with the highest percentage of people who walk to work.
Arkansas.
You didn't hesitate. You were close. Alaska.
Ooh, I knew it started with an A, though. Yeah.
You began with an A, man.
I could have sworn it was Arkansas. Is Arkansas too?
I think so. Steve
knew they were up
McQueen,
there.
who was a cool dude. Hey, there's another person we got to get as a poster. I can't believe we don't have Steve McQueen up. And I know I ordered a Bronson. Do we got Bronson?
Steve McWho?
Steve McQueen.
Who's that?
He persuaded his karate teacher, kickboxing champion Chuck Norris, to pursue acting. Chuck taught me too back in the day.
Vito.
Oh, this is weird. Steven Spielberg calls Gwyneth Paltrow Gwynny the Pooh.
Oh, that is so...
Ugh. I just lost a lot of respect for Spielberg.
Yeah.
Sting was a high school teacher. Bet you there was girls going,
Yeah.
you know what?
New gym teacher's dreamy.
Do you think you could improve upon those buttocks? I don't think so. I just don't think you could.
You're tough to do. It's a nice wall, isn't it?
Oh, my goodness. Studies have proven that it's harder to tell a convincing lie to someone you find sexually attractive.
Disagree.
As you and I both know, that's totally not true.
Right. No. I'm going to lie straight to someone's face.
I'm just joking around, but that is kind of funny, and I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I'm not. Yeah,
guys
I can
and
lie
girls have
straight
been
to
lying to each other since the beginning of time.
Yep.
You know, and I'm going to admit it. People don't admit this. Everybody freaking lies. Little lies, maybe some big lies. You know where I'm admitting this. Where I became a good liar was when I was a teenager, and my mom was really strict about where I go and stuff. Man, I used to have to freaking lie like where I had to go. And I became, and I think back on it, I'm thinking to myself, man, I would never be that naive if my kids told me that.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't go to a rated R movie, right?
I bet you are, though.
Oh, Mom, we're going to, and it would be like a freaking kids movie. And I'm thinking, yeah, like, right, we're really going to see that movie. Come on,
I don't know when
Mom.
I got good at lying. I should be a car salesman.
And I also remember this, like I would say, Mom, I'm going to so-and-so, and then I'd go somewhere else.
You know, it got to the point with my mom where I pulled so many over on her where I was wondering if she just liked me to the point, you know.
She let you lie to her.
She just kind of let me.
Right.
Yeah, okay, Garrett, you know, one of those things. Or just didn't give a damn by the time I came along.
Well,
so
you're the
third
youngest?
kid, yeah.
Oh, I tell you right now, that's a big. When Jeremy and Nathan were like teenagers, they could watch anything the hell they wanted on television.
My mom let me get away with murder.
We were restricted to this list: the Waltons, Little House on the Prairie, Walter Cronkite, Tarzan and John Wayne movies, westerns, and sports.
Oh God.
This is Poco, Heart of the Night. You know they have Poco on the Bill Spry list, and this is the only song that I kept from Poco, which I thought was worthy of the first hour. We would never play this at the second or third hour of the show because the song generally sucks if played later in the day on ClassX Radio. We deliver radio superbity every morning. Why? Because we just can't help ourselves. Sugar was first added to chewing gum in 1869. This is kind of funny irony. A dentist named William Semple was behind the decision. Wow, wow, wow. If you cuss over the phone in Virginia, you could be fined $100. Did you hear where the mayor of New York, Mr. Bloomberg, who wants to save us from ourselves, he wants a ban and some punishment for too loud of music being played through an iPhone. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Take our Cokes.
Yep.
Take our music.
Mm-hmm. Name the one capital of a southern state that was not captured in the Civil War.
Birmingham.
Tallahassee, Florida. Good guess, though.
Damn.
One over. Tangerines are named after what Moroccan city?
Morocco.
Tangiers.
I should have known that one.
Tapioca is made from the starch of the root of a poisonous plant known as bitter cassava, which basically means if you eat tapioca, you're a jackwagon.
Yeah.
By the way, I thought of something else, too. We need to have Tom Jones, she's a lady, and Helen Reddy, she's woman, always available in case on our reports a woman does something good, you know?
Yeah. We can make that happen.
Oh, my goodness. Taurine, the main ingredient in Red Bull, is an extract of the stomach lining of cows. Bet you nobody freaking knew that.
Ooh.
This is why people get up at 6 a.m. to listen to us.
Yeah.
They want to learn these things.
It's also why my buddy got an ulcer from drinking too much Red Bull.
I would imagine. 10% of the salt mine in the world is used to de-ice the roads in America. Jeez, oh Pete. Tequila is made from the root of the blue Octave actus. You know what we ought to do? You know what we ought to do? We ought to like freaking go like take the most exotic, goofy freaking plant we can find around here.
Make alcohol with it.
And figure out what we can make out of it and be exotic. Yeah. And then get rich.
This bourbon is made from real Ohio oak. That was dumb.
A guy tells a psychiatrist it was terrible. I was away on business and I emailed my wife and I'd be back a day early. I rushed home from the airport and found her in bed with my best friend. I don't get it. How could she do this to me? Well, says the psychiatrist, maybe she didn't see the email. By the way, I'll tell you, one of the funniest movies of all time is Old School.
Yeah.
When those dudes have an adult fraternity and he comes home early from work and she's upstairs and that one dorky guy shows the door. I'm here for the orgy.
here for the gangbang.
Yeah, I'm like, what the heck? He's like, what? Wow. You know what? That would be a kick to find out, like, oh, my God. How many blondes does it take to... Shannon, we'll see if Shannon knows this one. She can text the answer. Text us the answer, Shannon. How many blondes does it take to make a chocolate chip cookie? 1 to mix the dough and 9 to peel the M&Ms. Hey, William.
Oh, my God.
For now on,
that's an insult to blondes.
I'm taking care of the humor. On behalf of all of us here, we apologize to blondes everywhere. Jeez, oh, Pete. Can't you be funny, William?
William.
All right, turning to pop culture. Judge Reinhold has signed on to reprise his role as Billy Rosewood in the CBS pilot Beverly Hills Cop. That's a good thing because Judge doesn't have any work. He needs some work. Oh, my goodness. Dennis Rodman says he's going to host another basketball camp in North Korea to broker a peace deal between U.S. and North Korea. Oh, my God. Funny. Ted Nugent on the death of Hugo Chavez. Adios, mofo. All dictators, tyrants, slave drivers, and despots should die ASAP. Let freedom ring. Gotta love a guy like Ted Nugent.
Get him, Nuge.
We got to put Cat Scratch Fever on our playlist soon. Yeah. Valerie Harper, the 73-year-old best known as Rhoda from the Mary Tyler Moore Show, has been diagnosed with terminal brain cancer and reportedly has only 3 months to live. God bless you, Valerie. Cancer freaking sucks. Although I didn't really care for her show. I mean, I like Mary Tyler Moore. I didn't really care for Valerie. Taylor Swift sold her $4.8 million mansion she bought at Hyannis Port last year and made $875,000 profit. Jeez, oh, Pete.
That's the one she bought right next to the Kennedy she was dating at the time.
Yeah. See, when Taylor Swift starts dating you, she'll buy a mansion in Anderson.
Hell yeah. Plenty of them.
Yeah. Martha Stewart, while testifying in court, when she was asked how she spends her time these days, she says, I did my time, eliciting laughter from the courtroom. It's always good with
Who was this?
Martha Stewart. Snoop Dogg.
Snoop.
He will appear in a new video game, Way of the Dog, which will be a combination of musical rhythm and fighting games. What the hell?
It's the SNOOPDOGG.
Hey, man, we're going to have some music and we're going to have some fighting games, man. Smoke some marijuana. We're going to have Willie in there. It's going to be a great show, man.
Be off the hizzle for shizzle.
Shizzle the fizzle. Go Trojans, man. USC all the way.
I love Snoop Dogg.
Man, I appeared in Old School too, man. Wasn't that cool, man, with a streaking scene? Shizzle the fizzle, whatever the hell you're trying to say,
man. It's the D.O. double jizzle.
Yeah, double jizzle. Hey, man, let's smoke some weed, okay?
He smokes a whole bunch of
Are we allowed to do that according to FCC rules, man?
Mary Jane.
Okay, Mary Jane, you call whatever you want. I want to appear in a David Chappelle episode because I think I can take Prince one-on-one.
Well, I thought it was Snoop Lion now. He was Snoop Lion because he's doing a reggae album.
I'm Snoop Lion now, not Snoop Dogg. Lion, man. I ain't lying to you. I'm a dog lion. Hell, I don't know where the hell I am. I'll be a starfish next week. Though Ashton Kutcher is dating Mila Kunis, and though she has been separated for 12 months, she's now ready for divorce. Mila Kunis.
Mila.
You know what Kunis sounds like to me? I'm just telling you. I think it's a freaking weird name.
Kunis. It is.
All right, listen. Kids are listening. All right? So
take it easy,
we got to take it easy. But I'm just going to say this. One word by itself means nothing, okay? Lingus. All right? So I'm just saying. Every time I hear that actress's name, man, it even went over his head. The 50 most powerful people in sports. And we'll save that when we come back. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, I play the outfield song, one of my favorite hits. But this is my second favorite hit from the outfield. This is Since You've Been Gone on ClassX Radio. This is the Bulldog on ClassX Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, coming up later in the show, we have a major announcement about the Bulldog Mafia. I will report about my first trip to the casino. I will report about the Withrow case. I will report about some heavy legal stuff that I'm getting involved in. All good. And, of course, until then, we will have our first traffic report today by Traffic Girl, who is wearing first ever her Traffic Girl shirt. You look good in that,
Thank you.
Shannon.
Thank you. There is nothing going on in traffic, though, so far.
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Hey, Bulldog, I thought
Dr. Kurtzman.
I thought I did pretty well yesterday doing traffic. Am I out on the gig?
Let me tell you something, Dr. Kurtzman. You were outstanding, and just like Jake is the backup to Garrett, you are now the backup traffic reporter. You have passed up Crazy Karen from Wellston. We love you, Karen. And so you are the backup traffic guy now.
Yeah.
And if you want, we'll get you a T-shirt.
Yeah, great.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Kurtzman. I'm glad you've accepted that role. We want everybody to know that coming up later in the show, we got Dan Francis, Dr. Dan Francis, who I'm sure will brag that his home's Bulldogs made it into the Sweet 16. But what happened? Did they win or lose?
Quit living in the past, Dan. It's high school basketball.
I think that was me. That's what I'm telling you. I thought that was me. I didn't think
I think it had to be said.
Here's the 50 most powerful people in sports. Let's talk with number 50, Michael Jordan. How come Obama is 44? Well, Bulldog, because the black athletes like to come to the White House, and I let them do whatever they want. Number 19, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. Number 5.
These are the most
powerful people in sports. Number 5, Major League Baseball Commissioner Bud Selig. Number 4, ESPN President John Skipper. You know, he's a powerful dude.
Yeah, he is. Unfortunately.
3, AEG owner Philip Anschutz. What's AEG stand for? I'll admit I'll be stupid with it.
I don't know. It's like a firm that.
Number 2, NBA commission. I bet you it's the.
Wait, why AEG?
It's the agency. It's an agency. I think. It was the agency that was started by Dave McCormick, or whatever his freaking name is. What I didn't learn in Harvard Business School. Number 2, NBA Commissioner David Stern. And number 1, most powerful man in sports, Roger Goodell, Mr. Football.
See, I don't know. I mean, he's the most powerful man in the NFL, not in sports. He has,
one day.
Doesn't have any reign on any other sports.
One day when we're like filthy freaking rich, like Rush Limbaugh,
it's a dumb list.
Let's buy an NFL team. Can you imagine?
That would be sweet.
We'll change their freaking name to the Bull. Can you imagine like a hostile takeover of the Bengals, and we rename them the Bulldogs? The Cincinnati Bulldogs. Can you imagine the different fan fun that the Cincinnati Bulldogs owned by you and me compared to what we got now? It would be off the freaking chart.
You ever seen that basketball movie with Will Ferrell, Semi-Pro?
Yes, fun.
We'd make it like that. All these
absolutely
gimmicks outside the stadium.
Yeah. That was a funny movie.
Hilarious.
You know, the first time I saw that movie, there's a few movies like this.
He said, "Ask my C."
No, I thought it was kind of okay, but every time I've watched it since, I laugh my butt off.
Yeah.
NHL, though, they use... screw that. NCAA... screw that.
Come on, let's read those now. You can't tease.
49ers, they're boring. 49ers released veteran 6-time Pro Bowler kicker David Akers.
Yeah, sucked this year. Only person to miss 6 field goals under 40 yards.
You know, I believe in straight talk. The 49ers GM said, a true professional who represented himself and this organization with class. But really, they wanted to say, he sucked, and we're tired of him losing games.
Yeah, you're not kidding. He sucked. If he didn't suck, he'd still be on the team.
You're right. Bingo, as I like to say. The
He had
Reds
a good career, though, with the Eagles. And
The Reds lost to the LA Angels 4-6, and Wednesday's score beat Canada 12-2. Well, good golly, they beat Canada. Well, that was hard.
Who beat Canada?
That's what the Reds played Canada. I didn't know Canada had a baseball team besides their national team.
Oh, yeah.
The Reds play their national
I wonder
team.
when the World Baseball Classic starts.
I don't know. Cincinnati Cyclones lost to Florida 4-5.
It did already.
Hey, Dr. Kurtzman, do you have Cyclone season tickets? I figured a rich doctor like you probably does.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
You come see us at Kurtzman Surgery, and we'll
Okay.
get you with the laser.
I just asked you if you had tickets. That's all I wanted to know, man.
He's trying to get business out of us here.
Miami Heat won, and they apparently are like 18 in a row or something like that.
Yeah,
something
that's-
crazy. Chicago beat Colorado 3-2. The wins just keep on coming. Last night, go Muskies. They beat St. Louis 77-66.
Damn.
Morehead State 73-66. You know what? I always thought that name of university, Morehead State, was kind of dumb.
Great story for you. I was the editor at the school paper in college at UC, the news record, right? We were playing Morehead State in baseball one day. I was covering the game, and then I had to make the headline.
Keep it clean.
Well,
go ahead.
yeah, kind of.
Jeez.
So we run the headline.
No.
Oh, it's funny. It was clean.
All right.
Morehead blows late lead.
It's terrible.
Right?
It's terrible.
Oh, that was pretty good. It's clever. You got to think of a clever headline.
Hey, let's give Oracle status to
gotta
the
fit.
Holmes Bulldogs. They won yesterday.
High school.
You've been awarded Oracle status.
That is a great
Wow.
sign because they beat number 3rd team in the state out of Louisville. You know, you start off like that. LSU. We don't care about LSU. Tonight's games feature the Kentucky Wildcats, ranked 15th now,
No.
in my mind. 7 p.m. at Georgia Bulldogs.
They're unranked, people.
15th in my mind. What are they in your mind, Shannon?
1.
Okay. They're number one. They're number one in my
God.
wife's. Hey, they're number one in my wife's mind too. So I agree with that.
Yeah. Wait, who they play? Georgia?
Yes.
And they'll beat them.
9 p.m. 22 Wisconsin at number 10. Who cares about that game?
Who? Wisconsin, Michigan State?
Yeah, who cares about that game?
Be a great game.
Oh, now this is the one you got to tune into. 8:30. Lamar plays Nicholls State. Ooh. I don't know. Who do you think is going to pick a winner? there?
Lamar.
Lamar.
I got him.
Senator Sherrod Brown. Williams says we should jack-wagon him up because he lost one of his senior staff members to sequester cuts. If you take a budget hit, you do less service. Freaking. He doesn't deserve jack-wagon for that. We reserve jack-wagon for more serious things. Forest Park. I sound like Daryl Parks doing radio. Suspect arrested at the police track shoe prints in the snow. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury. Snow leaves footprint tracks. If you commit a crime, don't walk through the snow unless you have like skis or something.
I always thought, why don't you wear like abnormally big shoes?
Bingo.
Yeah.
Throw them off.
Not giving my secrets away or anything.
You know what
but-
we ought to do? We ought to get
Jake.
all of our brilliant minds, get Chuck Holbrook, he's got a criminal kind of mind, all of us together, and we ought to plan the perfect crime and see if we get away with it. And if we don't, figure out who takes the fall. Jake?
Nope.
All right.
Yeah. Jake
This
will Jake will
face
go
in
down.
prison.
Hey, it doesn't matter what Jake says. All we have to do is come together and say, hey,
It was Jake.
if we get caught, we're all saying it was Jake. I say we tip over a Brinks truck. I think that's the best.
Oh, absolutely. It's got to be money.
yeah.
I'm not going to do a crime.
Yeah, I don't want
Just
to
money,
kill
you know?
somebody.
I
That
think we
doesn't
need to
do
rob a
anything.
casino or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk off the air.
That's a good one, Jake.
We are going to plan the first
I guess-
robbery. We're going to plan the
horseshoe
first, a horseshoe casino. Hasn't been robbed yet. We are going to plan the perfect crime. Should we be talking about this publicly? During the break, it's only going to take us about 5 minutes. We'll be back and we'll tell you the plans. This is Rockstar by Nickelback, which just proves that I'm not just a 70s kind of guy on ClassX Radio. Bulldog on ClassX Radio. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, we give you Shannon the Traffic Girl.
Thank Thank you, but there is still nothing to report.
That's the way, America. Keep the streets clean. Keep everything rolling smooth. I just want to say that when I get these newsletters or these emails, they make my day. And, just love your newsletter, Bulldog Joyce. Got another one where they told me that they freaking read it first thing in the morning when they get up. It's the first thing that they do, and they love it. Kind of makes you feel good, you know what I mean? I want everybody out there to, my son in April takes the ACT test. And the game plan is to go to Thomas More and play football. It's awful cool because, you know what? Pastor Dan will be proud of me for this analogy. There is, Larry Forgy used to say this, he goes, Deters, if you and I start quoting the Bible, people will become concerned. I'm a sinner and I'm not a saint, so when I quote the Bible, I just want everybody to know that I'm not being a self-righteous, holier-than-thou kind of person because I am not. I am a sinner, not a saint. However, there's a passage in the Bible, a story in the Bible, that talks about the prodigal son. Famous story, the prodigal son. You know, how the black sheep runs away, goes away, and comes back, and all these things. As a parent, and I think like he's a coach and a teacher, when things come easy for somebody, it really is less of an accomplishment than when something doesn't come easy for somebody. And when I think about those people that like me, math, you could sit down with me with the best math teacher in the world, and I will promise you I will flunk algebra. But my son, he struggled with school, and I tell you right now, he has really worked hard studying for this sucker, and trying to figure out what he wants to do. He is motivated.
Yeah, and I've taken that SAT before. I got some advice. Is it Parker that's taking it?
And I went into the room. I went into his room the other day, and he has written on the whiteboard in his room, goals. Do well on ACT, go to Thomas More and play football. And I'm like, here you go. It's the way to go.
There you go. Yeah, I got some advice for him.
By the way, when he goes to Thomas More, just to let you know, I talked to Bill Spry about this. 30 minutes of our 3-hour show every Friday will be dedicated to reporting about Thomas More football. Go ahead.
Nice. Cheat. I would say to them, cheat on the test.
Right.
They do those practice tests.
Uh-huh.
They use 5 questions from each of those practice tests to form the new one for that year.
Well,
write them on your hand.
Well, he's doing practice tests. He's doing all that.
Yeah.
So,
cheat your ass off.
This is major local news. A judge has issued a restraining order to temporarily block the lease after worried citizens sued the city claiming a legal right to a referendum on the measure of the lease parking system. They say the city improperly declared an emergency to prevent the parking system lease from appearing on the ballot. And I want to tell you something. There's a lot. It's 5-4. Let me see. Seal Box under pressure now. Lori Clean Living's under getting some hits there. We'll see. Congrats to WCPO reporter Tom McKee. The 9 on your side will be rewarded one of the 2013 Walter Cronkite Awards for Excellence in Journalism.
It's a big honor. Way to go.
Tom McKee's a good guy.
Yeah.
Good guy. Donnie Arnsberger, co-owner of Fort Wright's new Walt Hitching Post, that's going to be reopened by the end of the month. All the best to him. His brother is a client and friend of mine, and actually Donnie's a client of mine. Good guy. He knows how to run restaurants. He learned under Swanky Ruby.
The Rube?
The Rube. Kentucky Medicaid expansion. Families USA said yesterday the expansion of Medicaid in Kentucky would pump $1.7 billion and 14,700 new jobs in the state economy by 2016. Yeah, Boulder Dash. Absolutely Boulder Dash. I love that word. Let's say it again. Boulder Dash.
Hey, that's not a game.
Poppycock.
Yes. It's a fun game.
Is it the game? Mm-hmm. What's Boulder Dash? What kind of game is it?
It's a word
game, yeah.
Now, this ought to scare the hell out of you. Eric Holder, we waking them up the other day. He testified before the Senate Judiciary Committee yesterday saying, I am concerned that the size of some of these institutions becomes so large that it does become difficult for us to prosecute them when we hit with indications, to prosecute. And it's a negative impact on the economy. Oh, we're so big, we can do whatever we want because the government can't prosecute. Ladies and gentlemen, that's freaking messed up. And that's the new world of Barack Obama. Because you know what we're going to have? Under Barack Obama, we'll have only 10 banks. We'll only have one insurance company. We'll probably only have 2 hospital systems. We're only going to have 1, 2 of everything. Why? Because your communism. What's communism all about? The centralization of freaking everything. The government control of everything. That's communism. Socialism and communism would share a lot of mutual qualities, including the spreading the wealth around. But the big difference between socialism and communism is communism, government, 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 government. And that's where we're headed. Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. Now, this is interesting. A Texas mom used a stun gun on her son as a form of punishment. Hey.
Wow.
Yeah, probably deserved it.
He's 14. I say if they're over 14, they get unruly.
Just zap his ass.
Stun his ass.
Well,
Thank God my mom only had a belt.
nothing like 300 volts to
Yeah.
put the fear of God in. I'm going to get a stun gun.
I think you should. God help us all. I mean,
Cattle prod. I want a cattle prod,
by the way,
actually.
There you go.
why is Jake just got?
Now, Jake!
I don't pay Jake enough money to take world trips. He goes to London for 2 weeks. He's going to New York. I think he might be independently wealthy.
How
And
many
if he
more-
is, I'm going to stop paying
How
him.
many more weeks you need off, Jake? Can we get you maybe 3 or 4? Couple in July,
What the hell are
couple
you?
in...
What are you doing in New York? How can you afford to take all these trips?
My God, man.
Free flight.
Why?
So many miles.
My God.
I've flown a lot in the past 3 years living in L.A.
I see.
Few trips to Hong Kong every
Somebody's
now and then.
cool.
Are you staying in Trump Towers when you're up there?
I'll probably, go up and say hey, but
What's the purpose of going to New York, and who are you going with, and when are you going to
What
come
are your
back?
intentions with
it's a
my
little
daughter?
bit of business and pleasure.
What's
Going
the
up
business?
For girlfriend, the business?
Yeah.
My uncle's
We're going to be
company's up
nosy.
there.
We want to be nosy. Okay, your
Uncle's company up there.
What's the name of that company?
Kinetoscope. It's
Okay,
a
what do they
production,
do?
production company.
Okay, so you're gonna apply for
What
a
do they
job.
produce?
Do audio stuff for movies and that.
Are you going to apply for a job there?
Well, I do work for them already.
You do?
Yeah.
Are we going to lose you?
No.
What do you plan on eating?
Because if you do, it's okay.
Lots of food.
You're very replaceable.
Pizza?
Your animal reports have been sucking.
Right.
Your Kurtzman's good, though.
Yeah.
So we'd hate to lose
There's
the
only
Kurtzman.
one person who can replace my Kurtzman, and
That's Kurtzman. And we don't really
We
want him.
don't want him in here because then he brings Fatty.
Her name's Patty. Be nice.
So I said, Patty. Oh, did I? Well, have fun, Jake. We're just
Well,
messing
thank you.
around.
I'll bring you something back.
Eric said he'd give you $300, little spending cash before you left. That's what we?
I already pay minimum wage. I don't want to give him any more bonuses.
Okay.
I mean, come on, man.
Little spending money. Take the lady out for a nice night at Mickey D's.
nice seafood dinner. Never
Never
call her again.
call her again. That's what Shannon and I are doing Saturday. Nice
I want you all to
seafood
behave
dinner.
yourself. All right, when we come back, we're going to get a report from Dr. Kurtzman about his laser. And we're really looking forward to that to see how his laser's doing. And until then, Garrett wants all of you to ride his seesaw on ClassX Radio. This is the Bulldog on ClassX Radio. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, we start with a traffic, or we begin with a traffic report.
There is still nothing going on. It is smooth out there so far.
Man, we're proud of you, folks.
Yes, great
Keep
job.
that up. It's important that we all just be safe and sound and nobody gets hurt.
Come on, you moron. Start getting in some wrecks.
We do not endorse all the comments that are made by Garrett on this show. There is a Brown Medical Fund at the Finney Fifth Third Branch. This is Twan Brown. And on Saturday, March 30th, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., at the Ralph Fulton VFW and Dixie Highway, there is a fundraiser. I'll put this stuff on Facebook and newsletters and everything else. Rand Paul, who is a man for liberty, the United States Senator from Kentucky, and he held about a 10 or 11 hour filibuster in order to block the nomination of John Brennan as CIA director to make a point that he thinks they can use drones on Americans on American soil. It's pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. Rand Paul, a man of principle. Are we so complacent with our rights that we would allow a president to say he might kill Americans? No one person, no one politician should be allowed to judge the guilt of an individual and to execute that individual. It goes against everything we fundamentally believe in our country, and that is darn correct. Jeez, oh Pete. You know what? There's not many people in Washington that I both agree with and have principle. Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut said, Rand Paul's filibuster was background noise. Well, Chris Murphy, you're a noise yourself. You're like a self-fulfilling noise, an irritating noise. Every time you open your mouth, as Garrett would say. Sound like something Garrett. Every time you open your mouth, it sounds like Garrett, doesn't it, Shannon?
Yes.
Barack Obama, and I've heard this story before. This is just scary stuff, man. Why does everybody just want to ignore the facts about me? I don't understand Bulldog, but I love it. They just ignore it. According to economist John R. Lott Jr., while Obama was a professor at the University of Chicago, he told Lott, I don't believe people should be able to own guns. Jeez, oh Pete. It's incredible. Scary. Scary, scary, scary. Do you believe they're worried about all our problems that we got right now? Global warming?
Yeah, that's not going to affect any of us in our lifetime.
Nope. I got a great rant coming up, by the way,
kids
about the
deal with
economy,
it.
so just hang in there, folks. It'll be epic, as they always are. Governor Christie says, I think it's time to start campaigning. Yeah, that's the problem, is keep campaigning. Self-fulfilling.
Fat boy.
Yeah, fat boy. Come on, Christie, you have the guts.
We got him.
Yeah.
Never heard that before.
Hey. That was pretty damn witty, calling him fat boy. God, jeez, oh Pete. Oh, my God. Mitt Romney has been named the chairman of the executive committee for Solomir Capital. It was founded by TAG. So now Dad's working for Son. I wish my dad would come work for me. I would even, you know what? If my dad came for work for me, we could call it Deters and Deters. I'd put his name first, of course. I'd put his name first. And then he could finance all the stuff I'm doing. And by the way, I just want you to know, if you are a very wealthy, rich member of Bulldog Nation, I just want you to know that I will accept any low or high interest rate loan for whatever amount you're willing to lend me, because right now I got so many great cases. You never have enough money. So I just want to tell you out there, if you want to cement your relationship with the Bulldog, I will accept, and I always pay back my loans.
I'll float you a loan. How much you need?
I really could use $1 million, but I'd take $500,000.
I'll give you $500,000. No problem. 50% interest.
Garrett, I'd rather you say that privately, because other people aren't gonna call now. 50%
I'll just sell
interest.
Just sell off some property I have.
Jeez, old Pete.
Florida.
All right. Swampland, I'm sure.
No. Naples.
The
Great
bankrupt
place.
company is
A
suing.
lot of money.
This is interesting. Kroger is suing Kroger and its subsidiaries, claiming they owe Hostess $2.84 million in unpaid bills. Now, just think about that. When you file bankruptcy, if you're one of their creditors, I ain't gonna worry about paying them back. They're bankrupt. Pretty interesting. Yeah. I bet you that hurts them, though, trying to buy the Hostess brands. Maybe. Nah, they'll say, okay, we don't care about $2.8 million if you buy Hostess. Where did Jake go?
Right there.
Yeah, but where did he go?
No.
Where were you?
Secret. Number 1 or number 2?
I was planning on it.
Had to be a number 2.
Hold on.
Had to be a number.
Hey, thanks, Garrett.
Yeah,
Planning our big heist.
Just get his mic on here. Jake and I are going to knock off the casino
Because
tomorrow.
wait a minute.
Give it a month or two.
We have a
and get
big
some
night
money in the
Saturday night.
safe.
Garrett and I are going to go out and.
Well, here's how you do it.
I might go play some BJ.
There's apparently catacombs underneath it. See, it's like
After work today.
Caesars, catacombs, main floor, convention floor. I say you go up underneath.
We heard there were jewels
in the catacombs. So.
Yeah, we can get the way. Yeah, we got to come from the ground
up.
Ground up.
The ground up.
Do people still go in the Vatican catacombs?
Oh yeah, I've been to the catacombs in Rome.
You can go in.
My parish was Saint Cecilia, and it was cool. I got to see Saint Cecilia where she lies to rest in the catacombs. Those people that don't know what the catacombs were in Rome, the catacombs were the place where the Christians went to worship and hide out to avoid persecution. And then, of course, subsequently, they would be buried there because, just the way
a lot of famous people down there.
Absolutely. I've got written in my will that if the Deters family plot is filled and there's not enough room, that I want to be transported at the expense of my executor, personal expense, and buried in the catacombs.
Done. Make that happen.
I wonder, isn't it be kind of weird to think about, though, like where you'd be buried? I know where I'm going to be buried. Well, I don't know, because you know what? I think that I'd rather be cremated.
I was going to say, that's the way I think I'll go.
Catholic Church apparently allows that now.
Do they?
They used to not allow it. Who knows?
Ashes to ashes.
I'd do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, when we come back.
Spread my ashes on UC's basketball court.
I'm going to...
Some kid mops him up the next game.
I'm going to speak my mind about the President of the United States. And we'll hear what Kurtzman thinks, too, on ClassX Radio. This is the Bulldog on ClassX Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury. I have a few things on my mind that I need to get off my mind. But before we do, we want to, take care of you on your traffic. So, Shannon, by the way, am I allowed to say your last name? You want to keep that secret?
You can say it.
Shannon Cook.
That's Cook, K-O-C-H.
Liar. Shannon Cook, C-O-O-K. You got a Facebook page?
I do.
What's your Facebook page? Shannon Cook?
Shannon Cook.
You want to be her fan? Check out Shannon on her Facebook page. Are they doing anything for you on the ClassX Radio Facebook page and the website?
I don't think so, but we do need to make it.
Well, come on!
We need a Traffic Girl Facebook page.
Definitely.
I'm on it.
I'm glad these hillbillies can't spell my name. Find me on Facebook. Don't friend me if you find me, people.
Well, we'll take care of that, Shannon. The marketing team of Bulldog Nation will take care of you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
In Cincinnati, there is an accident on Pippin Road at West Kemper Road.
And that's all?
That is it.
Wow. It's nice, short, sweet, and simple. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, I am famous for my oratory. And I just want you to know, I got scientific, empirical proof of that. In the past 30 days, this is a fact, in the past 30 days, 5 different times in state and federal courts, opposing counsel has tried to disqualify me for some reason or the other from representing my client. And it's getting downright funny and complimentary. The television news that covered the Withrow event yesterday noticed it. And I'm going to tell you about that story in a minute. But anyway, I was talking to Willie last night, and I'm going to give you a funny report about that at the casino. That's coming up next. But I was sharing with Willie, and Willie agreed with me, how doing talk radio has sharpened my speaking skills to a great, great extent. I noticed a difference. I can speak concisely, clearly. One of the things that's very important doing talk radio is you can't think while you speak, you go. Because if you're thinking, you're going to go, And I want to tell you that it really pays off. So, if I was not a lawyer, and of course Patrick Henry was a lawyer, I would love to be a political gadfly that just went around giving speeches against that which I opposed. But of course, I really get to do that on the radio. And we were talking last night at the casino at dinner that it's really scary what's happened in this country. And when you know how Jim Messina, the campaign manager for the Barack Obama campaign, and what their game plan was and how they campaigned really for 4 years from 2008 till then in like 4 or 5 counties in 4 states, Wisconsin, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Florida. It's kind of like remarkable. And now the Barack Obama campaign, what is it called? Something in action, organization in action or whatever. They are doing it again. They keep this political machine in place. And what they did in Ohio, in the 4 counties in Ohio, is they found out from public records lists. They found out if somebody did, how should we say, they checked out TMZ. They got People Magazine. If they got unemployment, they got workers' comp benefits. They knew who had the Obama phones. And they'd call them up and say, hey, you don't vote for, Barack, you're going to lose your phone. Who wouldn't vote for a guy? You don't vote for him, you lose your phone. I mean, it is incredible what they've done. And the way I look at it is, and I was talking to, Will, I thought the only way that you can stop it is if you convince a few of those 51%ers to say, hey, we're going to kill the golden goose. But as Willie points out, that's a tough sell because people are so in the day, in the moment. What's in it for me right now? And I think we all have a little bit of that. I like to think that I have some vision and a long-term plan. For example, in my law practice, if I wanted to, I could lay off or separate from all my partners. I could keep my top 20, 30 cases, do them all myself, work very hard, but do them all myself, have very little overhead, and net a ton of money. But I have a vision. That's too easy. I have a vision which is more. And I'm very candid about it. I think it's important. It's like to get business, you have to ask for business. You can't want business. You got to ask for the business. And I do that all the time. And I've published on ericdeters.com my secret to how I get all these clients. But one of the things that I make no bones about is I want to be the next Stan Chesley. But a different Stan Chesley. Stan Chesley is not going to return a text to you or return an email to you on something little. Those of you that don't like Stan Chesley for whatever reason, and I'm not saying Stan's perfect, I consider him a professional friend. I also admire his wife. But I want to tell you something. Stan Chesley has the power, based upon his success, to gain for clients that which others can't do. It makes a difference. And I love the idea of having that kind of power. In other words, when they know who you are and you're coming, they say, well, we know they've got enough oomph to hang with us. That's huge. And that's what I want to be. Now, I'm telling this for the lead-in to the following. My dream, your dream, whatever dream you have, is in jeopardy. Not because you don't have the skills, the talent, and the passion to do it, just like I feel like I do, but because the entire American economy is in jeopardy. And I just want to give you some very simple statistics. And as you know how I believe, it's simple, simple, simple. Simple in the courtroom, simple in relationships, simple on the radio. We had, when Barack Obama became president of the United States, a little over $10 trillion in debt. We are now nearing, by the end of the year, we'll be at $17 trillion. At the end of his administration, $20 trillion. Barack Obama not only would have doubled the debt in 2 terms, he doubled it from 10 trillion. In other words, it's not like 1 trillion, you double it to 2. No. 20 trillion. Now, here is the kicker. This year, our government is going to bring in more money than ever before. It's like 3 trillion and something, okay? We've brought in 3 trillion, but we're not going to bring in this amount of money. Now, here's the picture, folks. Debt keeps going up. They keep printing money, which devalues the dollar. That means makes the dollar worth less. Yet, despite bringing in more money than ever before, your president, the one and only Barack Hussein Obama, only wants to do one thing: more taxes. And you know what? The United States of America, where capitalism is one of my 3 pillars, has the highest corporate tax rate in the world. The world. We have the most revenue ever coming in. Now, how hard does it take somebody to look at that and say, maybe we're spending too much money? Hello? Are you kidding me? It's obvious as hell. How can you justify more taxes when we have a record amount of money coming into the Treasury, and yet the debt keeps going up? It's insane. It's insane. And he lies. You know, that Erskine Bowles Simpson committee, you know, he ignores it. He claims, I want to do all these cuts. No, he doesn't. It is illogical. It's unethical. It's immoral. It's terrible. It's just wrong. And all of our dreams are in jeopardy because if the country collapses, I mean, look what happened in 2008, 2010. There was collapses everywhere. Well, how many collapses do you think there's going to be if it's worse than that? Who of us will survive? Probably the only ones of us that have a barn full of gold in Grand County. No song, Garrett. I went a little pretty long, and that song isn't all that great anyway. So we'll just skip right over that song. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, when we come back, I'm going to tell you about the sit-down at the casino. And Pastor Dan will be here with us, I think, very soon on ClassX Radio.
Formula for...
This is the Bulldog on ClassX Radio. You know the energy. And, of course, I'm famous for my energy. But the energy rises a little bit more every time he joins us. Pastor Dr. Dan Francis from Latonia Baptist Church and StayInTheRoom.com joins us as he does every Thursday at this time. Dan, good to see you, and congratulations to your Bulldogs.
Thank you very much. And I'm already going to deal with Garrett's phrase that I live in the past because I follow my high school team.
Did I say that?
I believe it.
How many times has he mentioned Anderson?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. And being the editor of the UC paper, I mean, are you kidding me? I was very impressed with that. Wasn't impressed with the headline, but I was very impressed with that.
Yeah, we ran some other ones, too.
So I brought you a quote. Those who do not remember the past are condemned to repeat it.
Who said that? Some
jackwagon. Lots of people have said that.
Hillbilly.
Some hillbilly.
No, George.
That's what I thought.
George Santayana said that.
See what I mean? Some hillbilly. Good to see you, Dan. Congrats on your Bulldogs.
I'm telling you.
When do they play next?
They played the number 4 team yesterday and beat them. They play the number 2 team on Friday.
You know what? You might
for the finals.
Hey,
no. There's 16 teams.
I am not kidding you. You'd like to have a situation where you're playing weaker teams and the top teams get knocked out and you don't even got to play them. However, if you don't do it that way, if you've got to play top teams, it's better to play them early in the tournament when you're fresh because then maybe later in the tournament, all the other good teams are gone.
That's right. Well, and they played really well yesterday. This team is a huge team, and this kid that's 6'2", had 18 rebounds. Now, you know how hard it is to have 18 rebounds in a high school game? That's 32 minutes. That's unbelievable. He's 6'2". He was playing against guys that were 6'7", 6'8".
I was crashing the boards.
Crashing the boards.
Wow. Did you go to this game? Where are they at in the 16-team bracket? Where are they at now? Down to 8 or 4?
They're down to 8 today. And then they play again. Holmes plays again Friday at noon, and then they play Saturday night, and then, of course, the finals are Sunday.
But it's one and done. So.
Oh, yeah, one and done now. Yeah,
they got a shot?
Well, they're ranked 7th of the 16 teams, and they beat 4 yesterday. Yeah, I mean, they're
Simon Kenton High School, when they won the state tournament, they were like the 2nd or 3rd last ranked team.
That's right. They're 32 and 2. That's the best record in the
I just
state.
want you to know, I want Snoop Dogs for you. For shizzle my nizzle, home is Bulldogs.
For shizzle my nizzle.
I'm for the Bulldogs.
You know, it's
Go
bad
Trojans,
when you're
go Trojans and go Bulldogs.
when you're in your car by yourself listening to the radio and you start laughing. I mean, I was laughing out loud on the Snoop today.
Hey, I got something to report, and we got to get serious here for this. And I think, Dan, we have a role for you too that I cannot believe. And you got to you're probably going to have to consult your board at your church before you even consider accepting this position. But all right, yesterday, the day before, actually, I was talking to Willie on the phone, and Willie said, "Hey, Judge Penelope R. is going to be gone Wednesday. You know, I'd like to have you and Chuck meet me for dinner down at the casino. Have you been there?" I said, No. I said, "Sounds like a good idea." Well, yesterday at 4:30 p.m., I was in a downtown Cincinnati law firm, one of those big law firms with the mahogany wood. And I was meeting there with a group of nationally renowned lawyers who have taken great note of our Dr. Durrani cases. And they had a lot to offer us, and we were at this meeting. And he asked, he says, "Hey, do you want to go?" So I did the first thing I got to do. I got permission from the boss, and she said, "Okay." And Larry Grouse, my godfather, was with me, and so was Josh Robinson, one of the captains of the Bulldog Mafia who works with me. So we scheduled a rendezvous at the casino at 6 p.m. Willie, Chuck, the underboss, me, the godfather emeritus, who's been grouchy these days. We're thinking about whacking. No, I'm just teasing. Larry Grouse. And you know what happened to Sopranos? They whack off. Anyway, and then Josh, one of the chief captains in the Mafia. So we go to Margaritaville, and we get a back corner round table, and people were recognizing Willie. Now, people recognize me a little less than Willie, but it's still fun to have people say, "Hey, Bulldog." And so we convened at this meeting, a official meeting of the Bulldog Mafia hierarchy. And it is with great pride and with great pleasure I am pleased to report that William Daniel Cunningham, two-time Marconi Award winner, national television star, accepted the position of consigliere of the Bulldog Mafia.
It's big news.
Awarded Oracle status.
So I now can obtain legal advice and counsel from someone who is esteemed and knowledgeable as Willie. Now, one thing that concerns me a little bit, Dan, is this. His first concern as the consigliere, he wanted to point out to me, he thought that Garrett might be bringing a little too much attention to himself and Bulldog Mafia. You know, we're supposed to lay low. And I said, we'll take that under advisement. And what do you think about that? I mean,
Willis?
Yeah.
I'm not completely surprised. First of all, he's very
Come on, Dan! Oh, you're a jackwagon, Dan.
Well, is it your theme song?
Do you have a high school basketball game to be at?
Didn't I hear your theme song the other day? You played that Carly Simon song, "You're So Vain." Wasn't that for?
Yeah. I bet you think this song is about you, don't you?
Now I don't know.
It's a great song.
This is probably a first because no Mafia has probably held this position. But I want you to know that we also voted to offer you, and I don't say no or yes right away unless you want to. But we were thinking that we ought to have a chaplain.
Yeah, we ought to have a janitor, we thought that you would be perfect. We need somebody to clean up the studio when we leave here every day. We thought you would be perfect, Dan.
Shannon is our Angie Dickinson, by the way.
Got that?
Yes.
Jake is what's underneath a captain. I should know because I'm the godfather.
Admiral.
And no,
Admiral Jake.
Sea captain.
Jake's not a made man, but Jake's still in the pipeline.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way,
I'm trying
Jake,
to work my way up.
Jake, I got to talk to you before you go to New York. There's some families that I'd like you to deliver a few messages.
Yes. And some people we need offed.
Oh, by the way, real quick before we go to this break, and we come back, we're going to get Dan's thoughts, Pastor Dan's thoughts and everything. True story, okay? There was 5 of us. All we got was 4 appetizers. Everybody got drink, and I don't think anybody drank alcohol. 150 freaking dollars.
No way.
Here is my and half the. Let me tell you what. This is what's going to happen. And the restaurant was crowded. The casino was half empty, but it was a weekday. My prediction: everybody's going to try it once. But I'm telling you right now, in this economy and those prices, it ain't going to work, man. And come on, we're not like poor people. And we were like, gosh, dang, $150. Willie says that half in those seats to make it, each seat has to make $390 a day. And I'm sitting there thinking, well. So I'm just telling you, it's going to be hot. And by the way, the convention, he says the upstairs, huge convention center. But my prediction is it'll be hot, but it's going to hurt other areas. I mean, come on, like the banks. How does the banks compete with that? But I was unimpressed. But then again, folks, I'm not a gambler. By the way, I got there at 6. I was going by 7:15. Did not gamble. Willie and Chuck went in the casino, and I think it might have been like $100,000. Thank you, Chuck. You're a soldier, Jake. Like $100,000, and apparently they doubled their money and left. When we come back, folks, we'll get Pastor Dan's opinion on a few things, and I just want everybody to know that I've kind of got a groove in picking songs. In the last hour, I'm going to pick my faves because they got to be upbeat when you're cruising to work, and this is one of our favorites, Ace Frehley, back in the New York groove. Stop those feet on ClassX Radio. This is the Bulldog on ClassX Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury. We first go to traffic.
In Cincinnati, there is an accident on Pippin Road at West Kemper Road. The on-ramp is blocked on 275 eastbound at exit 43. An accident blocking the right lane on 71 southbound north of 275, exit 17. An accident on West Nixon Street at Vine Street. In Hamilton, an accident on Beach Mine Avenue at Corbley Road. An accident on Maple Leaf Avenue at Leicester Road. In Grossback, an accident on Round Top Road at Pool Road. And in Cincinnati, an accident on Daly Road.
Thank you very much. Dan, this is Dr. Dan Francis from Latonia Baptist Church and StayInTheRoom.com. What's on your mind today? What would you like to share with the American jury today, especially those that might be wayward like our very own Garrett?
I'm glad you brought that up. Been thinking about him, and I was worried about him. I know there's this date coming up, and I know he's got some nervousness about that. So what I was doing was trying to connect a little culture to his life. And since you and I are Les Miserables aficionados,
right.
I would pull a quote from
We're the
him.
culture for
That's
this.
That's right.
We are the culture and education for the show.
You talking about? I'm cultured.
I found a quote for you can use. It's perfect. Nobody knows like a woman how to say things that are both sweet and profound. Sweetness and depth. This is all of woman. This is heaven.
What?
Hey.
Does that mean Shannon's going to say something profound to me?
Can we go to a song now? Jeez,
I'm going to sap up the show,
I just
Dan.
want you to know, Dan, that we all strike out every once in a while.
And that was it.
It was like yesterday I came in here all geared up to do like something with Kelly's Heroes movies.
Right.
And I got here and I said, that was a freaking stupid idea.
It always looks good on paper, doesn't it?
But I tell you right now, well, see, here's what happens to me.
Break that down for me,
A lot of
Dan.
times at night, I'm full of melodrama, see, and I come up with stuff, and by morning it's like, that's stupid.
Yep.
But anyway, next, Dan, what else you got on your mind?
Well, how about the which of the most beautiful men list? I was wondering if Shannon might take some time. You know, I'd heard about you all talking about that earlier. Which maybe identify a person in that list that looks most like us here in the studio. I mean, I've got the Richard Gere covered because I got the hair.
Yeah,
thing
I
going,
can definitely see Richard
I
Gere.
definitely got that.
Richard Gere.
I see Brad Cooper and Jake.
Right.
And I see, let me see, I only see Chris Farley and Garrett.
Yeah. Now you got to Shannon, who do I look like on that sheet?
Now remember, how good your date's going to be depends upon your answer.
Yeah.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah, well, I get that a lot.
God, you have never gotten that.
I get that all the time.
Yeah.
Just away from the studio. I like Bradley Cooper, though. He's my sexiest man.
So that's me.
He's good.
Is he?
I like Jake.
You like Channing?
We got some love going on.
All right, now I got a question for you.
Okay.
This is by Seth Borenstein, the Associated Press. Physicists in Italy said Wednesday they are achingly close to concluding that what they found last year was the Higgs boson, the elusive God particle. They need to eliminate one last remote possibility that it's something else. The long-theorized subatomic particle would explain why matter has mass and has been called a missing cornerstone of physics. With new analysis, scientists are 99.6% certain they found it. And what do you think about this what they call the God particle, like the original? And what it is it's like they're like busting atoms down to atoms. I mean, they're just taking it all the way down. There's a picture. You can share that with me. What do you think about this?
Well, I've been reading about it. We will never be able to prove God. That's not going to happen. But I always believe that you get closer and closer to God, the more science and faith and life intersect. So I'm not uneasy with that at all.
I forget the name of the movie, but I love that Ben Stein movie where there was an acknowledgement. There was an acknowledgement even by the atheists and unbelievers that something kind of a crystal something, that there is, and I don't know if they were talking about the God particle, but there is something that is, without any question, undividable, and it's the beginning, and somebody had to create it. And in other words, it had to come from somewhere else, and they don't know where it came from. And I'm thinking, God.
Well, it's the old watchmaker thing. You know, the watch, we feel like creation's been put together. It takes a watchmaker to make the watch. It just doesn't fall into pieces. And so science, at its best, when it intersects with life, will always point to a greater God, a greater creature.
All right. Do you got anything else on your mind today that isn't as bad as that quote was?
Well, you talked a lot about gambling this week, and I pulled out an Oscar Wilde quote. Horse sense is what keeps horses from betting on what people will do. And I think he's true. I mean, the whole thing about betting is just kind of you're just a no-nonsense guy. And for you, betting is just not, it's just not a real thing.
Betting is a sucker's bet. We were joking when we were sitting there, all those people, and we're thinking, the only way you pay for this place is a bunch of freaking people lose. Don't like that. Now, I'm a gambler.
Unless
but
you're
I like,
a badass.
In fact,
like
I do it every
Shannon
day. I make a living taking contingency cases. I don't get paid unless I win.
But you're gambling on yourself
exactly,
there,
Exactly.
And I understand that. Risking, you do it all the time. It matters. And I'm out there in front, making risks every day.
All right. Well,
how about the Dennis Rodman thing? I know y'all hit that a couple of times.
Yeah.
Does that get weirder than weirder?
Well, the latest report, William had sent it to Chuck. Chuck sent it to me about the Korea's talking about maybe a preemptive strike upon America since America's going to come. I mean, right after Dennis Rodman's peace tour, they say something like that. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really
weird.
It's as weird as I've ever seen.
Right.
And I think his attraction to Dennis is more weird than it is basketball. I mean, I just think there's a weird thing there.
Right. Well,
couple of freaks.
Dennis Rodman's weird anyway. I got a report to everybody about Withrow yesterday. Corniche Bess, the young girl that I represented, and I'm only saying her name because her mom says it's okay. Juvenile court, they appointed a guardian for her, separate counsel, because of possible conflict between the mom and her, although I'm not concerned about it. But by Friday, they have to produce the video, the DVR, and then I get to have a forensic expert look at it to see what's on there and what's not on there. And it's set for trial April 10th, and it's going to move forward. But I was very impressed with the magistrate, level-headed. There is nothing. I just, with admiration, when you're before a really good judge, right temperament, right wisdom, deliberate, the whole package. Just like it's special to sit in the pew and hear a really good pastor like yourself, or sit in the courtroom and listen to lawyers. I mean, when you hear something that is, it's just neat. It's really neat. And I was very impressed. One of the times I sat in Judge Stevens' court, and he sentenced this woman that had ruined her own life on drug use. And the things he said to her and how he ruled just was great. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was like, man, this is neat. Kind of like the bishop forgiving, Jean Valjean for the theft. You remember that in the play?
Yeah, it was a great play.
Yeah,
what? Awesome.
By the way, if you notice, I gave up on playing that freaking song.
I noticed that.
Good golly.
I noticed that. Well, Judge Sheehan once, my brother had been drug stuff, had been in trouble, and I remember him standing him up in the courtroom and talking to him and asked me to stand because he knew I was going to oversee him. And the talk he had was unbelievable. I mean, he talked to him. He said, "You got somebody standing in your corner, and this may be your last shot." Yeah. And he's not been back to
the judges around here understand this drug issue is not all self-inflicted. I mean, right. it is hitting everywhere. All right, we come back with more Radio Sapabity. This is one of my favorite songs. And by the way, even though Loretta Lynn's in it, it's still a rock song because Jack White's in it. Portland, Oregon on ClassX Radio.
ClassX and ClassXRadio.com.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog on ClassX Radio. Shannon, what's going on in traffic?
In Cincinnati, there is an accident on Pippin Road at West Kemper Road. The on-ramp is blocked on 275 eastbound at exit 43. An accident blocking the right lane on 71 southbound north of exit 17. An accident on West Nixon Street on Vine. In Hamilton County, an accident on Beachmont Avenue at Corbley Road. An accident on Maple Leaf Avenue at Leicester Road. In Grossback, an accident on Round Top Road at Pool Road. And in Cincinnati, an accident on Daly Road.
There we go, people.
Jeez, oh, Pete. That's a lot of accidents.
Starting to get it together out there.
You got anything else on your list? Because if you don't have anything on your list, I was going to ask you another question.
I've got plenty on my list, but I'm always willing to be asked a question. And I would like to respond to the chaplain request. I will take it under advisement, and I will listen to my advisors and get back to you.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Now, my question is this. What do you think about, I mean, we are all hypocrites to some extent. Mm-hmm. I don't got any question at all. But there are some whose hypocrisy knows no bounds. This president, while simultaneously he and his wife enjoy the good life, the golf and the travel, the concerts at the White House and everything else, acts like, falsely, that he's for the little guy who he's just increased their taxes with the payroll increase. And then at the same time where he's bashing the wealthy and rich people, goes to them to try to make money. And then to, for example, golf tournament. More important, but we got to cut these White House tours. Are you kidding me? Like, you know, you talk about like where his priorities are. And the hypocrisy is just incredible. And I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. This president is lazy. And by the way, if you think that's an attack, he admitted he was lazy. He publicly said, I got a lazy streak. This is a lazy man who enjoys the perks of the presidency, who goes out campaigning and traveling around instead of solving the problems, and his priorities are just messed the hell up. Your comments, please.
Well, only that work ethic is of our generation, at least you and me, we just love work ethic. And the thought of anybody not working as hard or harder than us is beyond imagination for us. So for me, work ethic is primary. When I talk to somebody, you and I have talked about this, work ethic and passion are the two things I ask for anybody that I bring on staff with me. Work ethic and passion.
Right. I mean, if you have enthusiasm and you got work ethic and you've got, decent common sense and a little bit of intellect, that's a deadly thing. Because you can be the smartest person in the world and you just don't got the gumption. Oh, well.
I can train a lot of folks beyond that, but I can't train passion and work ethic.
It's like in basketball, you can't train height.
That's right.
And it's actually even hard to train passion and get people fired up. They either have the natural energy or they don't have the natural energy.
That's
right. Let's get a report from Dr. Kurtzman. It's been very difficult, I know. There was a communication problem. What happened was he thought we were going to fire Shannon. And we aren't going to fire Shannon. But so he showed up, and I know you've been sitting over there patiently, Dr. Kurtzman, and I admire you for accepting the backup role to Traffic Girl. And are you doing okay over there?
I'm doing okay over here. I'm used to being, kind of put in the corner.
Because of Patty? Patty puts you in the corner a lot, doesn't she?
Yeah, you're used to getting picked last.
Patty, can I say, yeah, I do get put in the corner a lot. She said it was, she said it was okay to say, so.
Hey, I want you to know, people that are my fans, and I've been getting bombarded by fans and clients and friends, Facebook and email, and they're wanting free, because they're my friend, free laser treatments, free breast augmentations, free liposuction, free Botox. How many frees can I get from you? Because since I'm your friend and I give you a little bit of radio time,
right?
Do I get any frees?
Well, ask Patty.
Well, I'll talk to Patty about it, but I think what we would do is a laser procedure. It takes about 80 visits. We'll give
80 visits.
Yeah,
well, just freaking take a match and burn off the hair.
Well, we'll give you one free.
Jeez,
one free out of
what's Dr. Kurtzman?
Just tell them when they call, give them the Bulldog special, and we'll give them one free visit out of 80.
Wow. What is it? Dr. Kurtzman, I just want you to know, your generosity does not go unnoticed to the nation.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hey, will you be the official doctor? Because in the mafia, we have some people that sometimes get shot, beat up, and they might need some work. Will you be the official? I know what you're going to have to do first, but I'm going to ask you, can you be the official doctor for the Bulldog Mafia?
Hey, Patty, you mind if I be the doc? Yeah, the doctor. Yeah. Yeah. Call me the doctor. Yeah.
All right.
He got permission from Patty. You know what Patty's rhymes with?
Come on. We have, I just want you to know, if you missed it earlier, Willie has agreed to be the Ben Hagen, the consigliere of the Bulldog Mafia.
Just under me. Congratulations, Willie.
No. He's horizontal, buddy.
Bull
He's
crap.
above you.
Above him.
The consigliere. See, the three main
I'll
guys.
kick his ass.
It's me, Chuck, and Willie. The underboss, the godfather, and the consigliere. You're just a captain. I'm sorry,
So I just got shifted? I thought I was a consul.
Well, on the radio show, you're a consul.
Oh, in the real life.
In the radio show. Yeah, in the radio show. How do you... You know what? Can you imagine if you had to run your church like a consulship?
There's only one Garrett, fortunately.
That's right. You're damn right there is.
Let's bring up the date again. Are you going to be a gentleman?
Absolutely not.
Oh, my gosh.
Shannon's going to pick me up. She's going to buy. She's going to pay for the cab home.
Jeez.
Everything.
Oh, my God.
You got any words of wisdom for me? I think it'll go well. I think it'll go well, right, Shan?
Dr. Kurtzman gave me a bottle of champagne for New Year's. I know he knows. What kind of wine would you recommend they eat with their sushi, Dr. Kurtzman?
I would say rice wine. That's what you eat with sushi, isn't it? The sake? That's rice. Yeah, it's rice wine.
Sake.
I knew you would know.
Yeah, call me if you ever have any wine problems like Kurtzman surgery. We got a laser.
Kurtzman, he's got a laser.
Can we go to the song now? I need to go to the song while I fall out of my chair on ClassX Radio. This is the Bulldog on ClassX Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, we give you our last traffic report. And remember, tomorrow we're going to filibuster probably all day long. Why? Because we were inspired by Rand Paul. Dan, feel free to stop by and help us filibuster.
Okay.
Shannon Cook, what do you got?
In Cincinnati, there is an accident on Daly Road at Granada Drive. In Covington, an accident blocking the right shoulder on 75 northbound at Kyles Lane. In Cincinnati, an accident on Maple Leaf Drive at Leicester Road. In Hamilton County, an accident on Beachmont Avenue at Corbley Road. In Grossback, an accident on Round Top Road at Pool Road. And in Cincinnati, an accident on West Nixon Street at Vine.
Very good. Very good. Thank you very much. Dan, we were talking about the casino gambling, and I just want you to know that Larry Forgy, when he campaigned against the lottery, he had this quote, which I thought was awesome. It was called, "The lottery was a tax on hope and an excise on misery." And that's what gambling is. Mm-hmm. Gambling at the casino is a tax on hope and an excise on misery. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm not one of these anti-gambling guys. Hey, you want to have it? I'm not going to go out and protest against or anything else. But my advice to people is don't go because it's a waste of time. But, Dan, it's with great honor and with a great privilege that our associate producer, Jake, in conjunction with our main producer, Garrett,
No, it was all Jake.
It was all okay. All Jake, has some theme music for you. So on every Thursday, we can properly honor you as you enter the room to hold you up and lift you up to the good Lord and Bulldog Nation. And I know it sounds a little Catholic-y, a little bishop-y, maybe, but I just want you to know that
it's Baptist. Trust us.
They'll know that you're a holy man as you come in.
I'm overwhelmed. Overwhelmed and humbled.
You ought to be honored.
And
Great.
And one thing, I just want you to know that I very much understand Protestant and the history, and I know part of the problems that the Martin Luther and others had with the church was the pomp and circumstance and icons, and you're a good old Baptist guy, but I still think that it lifts you up.
I would receive it gladly. Although I've
never heard chanting in your church.
I have not. We do not chant. We chant before and after the service. But I did have my perspective question this week, and I wanted to address that.
What is that?
There was some concern that I might have not told exactly the truth in my sports reporting regarding the sophomore's shot. I said it was 5 feet behind.
I have never doubted you.
5 feet behind.
He talks behind your back, by the way.
Yeah. 5 feet behind the three-point line. I have a crack video team working on reproducing that tape, by the way.
To prove it.
But my wife often says this when I doubt her truthfulness. She says, and these are exactly her words, the very audacity to doubt my veracity or even to insinuate that I might prevaricate. And that would be my response to this whole thing.
Man, that's...
Wish I knew half.
I don't know where she
word again? What is that word again?
The very audacity to doubt my veracity.
I know audacity and veracity.
Or even to insinuate that I might prevaricate.
What's that last word?
Prevaricate means not tell the truth.
Not
tell the truth.
I didn't know that. Well, I just want to tell you that you and your wife are definitely sophisticated rhetoricians inebriated with the exuberance of your own verbosity.
That's exactly what she told me last night.
All right. Very good. All right.
I don't think either of those things happened. No way he said that to you.
In light of that,
Are you accusing him of lying?
You're lying.
Here it comes again. And it hopes that you will win the comedian award locally, and not being a preacher who's afraid of laughing at himself, and not being afraid of risking, because I risked it earlier and swiped out. I want to tell you a joke about 4 clergymen. 4 preachers were on the way home from a conference. The conversation...
Hope it's better than Williams' jokes.
I did hear that this morning. The conversation was casual, but became serious when one of them proposed that they should start confessing their sins to each other. The first one admitted, my sin is gambling. It's almost an obsession. The second confessed, well, my problem is alcohol. I really am addicted to it. The third side, I have to admit that I lustfully look at beautiful women sometimes.
Not me and Garrett.
The fourth clergyman was silent. The others urged him to stand by their agreement to come clean and confess. He says, my friends, I might as well tell you, my sin is gossiping, and I'm going to have a ball this week.
Nice.
Telling the story.
You know what? Gossip can be bad, but truth in revealing things of public interest are important. I'm always able to distinguish, like I do on the radio. There's a difference between public interest and private interest. Mm-hmm. If something is a private thing, I don't like anybody to be harmed. Public interest, different story.
I've said
That's
it for
why
years.
I'm never, ever going to run for public office except presidency. I figure if I'm going to get skewered, I might as well get skewered trying to be president.
I've said it for years. The truth usually, 99%, only hurts when it's supposed to.
Yeah. And I also think, Dan, I mentioned this to you off the air, I think you ought to be like a life coach. I think it would be cool to have somebody that was kind of like every day you had to check into. Well, what are you doing today? Are you sure? Are you sure you want to do that? I don't know why.
And I'm doing some research on that right now. I've been
because
in a sense, with my counseling and stuff that I already do. It's an extension.
See, I just want to tell you, Chuck Holbrook's been my life coach, and I just don't. I'm a little concerned where I'm headed. I mean,
knowing Chuck, I would have that same concern.
He's just too easy. I said, Chuck, Eric, you go do that. That's a good idea. I'm just teasing Chuck.
And then he says, why did you do that after that?
I ain't kidding you. Chuck's kind of like my conscience.
He is.
He's like my conscience.
I've said
That's what
that
a best
before.
buddy's supposed to be like. What do you think, Chuck? Well, I'll tell you this. By the way, he and I fight, though.
Wait,
we got in a real bad one earlier this week. I was in a bad mood. He was in a bad mood. We're both a little sensitive.
Yes, I noticed that.
You noticed that,
yes,
don't
I
you?
did.
A little sensitive about things. And I swear to God, I wish I had a videotape the time he pulls in behind me in Florence, and I'm backing out, and he's pulling in, and I hit him. And I'm mad at him for pulling in behind me. He's mad at me for backing in him. And Ross Gotchula, my client, sitting there watching me and him just yell the hell. I can't believe we didn't hit each other. We were freaking yelling at each other at the top of our freaking lungs. Well, what the hell you doing? Well, what the hell you doing? And then 5 minutes later, we were like, nothing happened.
Right.
Women can't do that, can they, Shannon?
Not as easy, huh?
Not at all.
Women hold grudges.
Yeah.
See, Garrett and I, the other day, we got in that fist fight and stuff, and I laid
your
him
ass.
out. And then, I got that wrong. So, and then we're buddies again, see?
Yeah.
How come women are that way?
I don't know. I wish it was like that.
They're bihatches.
Garrett.
They
Because
don't let it go.
they're much more relational than us. That's why. I mean, they
Yeah,
hang
that's
on
a
to
good
stuff.
point.
You know,
Good point.
They're circular in their thinking. We're more
They
linear.
bring up the old stuff.
Dan gave a scientific explanation.
Very true.
They bring up the old stuff.
Women speak about 35,000 words a day. We speak about 17 or 18,000. Therein lies the big problem.
Wow.
I bet we speak more than that.
Yeah, you and I speak more than that. I wonder how many words Rand Paul spoke in 12 hours.
A lot.
It's a lot of words. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, we want to thank you for tuning in. We're glad that Duke turned back on electricity, and we'll be back tomorrow from Radio Superbity. Thanks, Pastor Dan. Thanks, Dr. Kirchman. We'll be back tomorrow. Every dog has a day. Tomorrow is yours on ClassX Radio.